Hello YouTube, welcome to the channel Vortigon Gaming. Let's run some Mythic Plus dungeons in World of Warcraft. Today we are going to be running a Shadowmoon Burial Grounds, level 17 as an Arcane Mage. The weekly affixes are Tyrannical, Raging, Storming, and Thundering. I will be doing my best to give a live commentary of the dungeon run. If you're into that kind of content, feel free to like the video and subscribe to the channel. So first things first, this is a Tyrannical week, not a fortified week, so the trash mobs in here shouldn't be too much of an issue to deal with. You know what, I think I will save my cooldowns for the next pack and not use them on this one, since this pack is about to die fairly quickly now. For those of you who don't play Arcane Mage is actually pretty straightforward spec to play. The rotation for it has two phases. You have the burn phase and the conserve phase. The burn phase basically amounts to putting Radiant Spark on a target, casting 4 spells on the target, and then barraging on the 5th one. And then on that barrage you apply Touch of the Magi. And the idea is that Radiant Spark and Touch of the Magi give you burn windows to do as much damage as possible to your targets. And then after the Touch of the Magi window ends, you go into what's called the Conserve phase, which is basically use your spells and abilities in a way where you have enough mana for your next burn phase. If you want to learn more detail about how the rotation works, there are enough guides on YouTube. You can simply go into the search bar and type up Arcane Mage rotation guide. And you should be able to find yourself a guide that goes into more detail about how the rotation works. But if you're running a dungeon as low as level 17 this late in the season, we're about three months into the season, I think. All you really need to do is get the general gist of how your rotation works, do the mechanics of your dungeon properly, and don't die, and you should be good. Alright, so this is going to be the last group, or the last trash mob before the boss fight. You know what? I will hold off on using my cooldowns for this pull. I would like to have my cooldowns up and ready by the time we get to the boss room. So we'll only focus on shooting these guys with arcane missiles. Each arcane missile that hits the target generates a stack of arcane harmony. Arcane harmony buffs the damage done by the next barrage. So it's important to have 4 arcane charges and as many arcane harmony stacks as you can going into a pull. So that way it does, the barrage during your burn phase does kind of the maximum amount of damage. Okay, we'll go ahead and go into a burn. Alright. It is a Tyrannical week, so the bosses do hit harder, they do have higher health. We're going to be focusing on the ad that comes out right after I hit Shifting Power to get some of my cooldowns back. Shifting Power does have a cooldown reduction to it. Also, if I need to, I can Frost Nova the Defiled Spirit, but it looks like we will be able to kill it before it gets anywhere near the boss. Alright. I think I'm in position to do a burn here. She's going to cast Dark Eclipse in a couple seconds. We're going to run over to the white rune on the ground. After this is taken care of, we can actually blink over to where these guys have the tornado on our head and dispel the Thundering Affix. That should take care of that. I'll hit shield for some extra healing to supplement, what the healer is healing me for. We'll go ahead and hit Evocation to get some of our mana back, and then we're going to focus on this ad over here. If we need to, I do have Frost Nova to slow him down, to prevent him from reaching the boss, but it looks like we are going to kill him fairly quickly. We'll switch back over to the boss. We will... And it looks like Whispers of the Damned is coming out. We'll go into a burn, I think it'll be fine. She is going to do Dark Eclipse. Okay. Step into this white rune right here. Get some damage reduction. There we go. Alright, step out of this swirly right here. Hit Shifting Power to get some of our cooldowns back. Alright. We'll stand near the tornadoes, and okay, it's been dispelled. It's taken care of. And I think we can simply focus on the boss, and this should do it for boss 1. We'll give ourselves a slash cheer, and move on to the next section of the dungeon. Here, I believe it's important that we don't interrupt the Dominators. We focus them down, but we don't interrupt them. And one of them has been interrupted, so that might make this pull a little bit difficult. I think we'll manage, though. Let's see. Okay, the Dominator is being taken care of. The Dominator is being interrupted by other people in the group. So that's fine. We do want to focus our damage on this Dominator, so that way when the subjugated soul goes down, the Dominator won't have that much health left either. We'll go ahead and hit Evocation and get some of our mana back. I'm going to zoom in a little bit for this section, since we are in a very closed off hallway, and so that's going to affect kind of the camera position. Alright, adds are spawning. We can actually spell steal the shields off these.
Well done.
Okay, can interrupt that. We'll hit him with the, whatchamacallit, Dragon's Breath. If you've seen my videos before this week, you may have noticed that I have swapped up some talents on my toolbar. And some of those talents are crowd control talents or disorienting talents. They stun the enemies, so I have a few more options when it comes to dealing with some of these mobs. Right? But these are talents that you have to spec into. For example, Dragon's Breath and Blast Wave. Those are a different part of the talent tree than I was using in earlier weeks of the season. And whether or not you spec into those talents really depends on what dungeon you're running. So for example, if you're running, let's say, Court of Stars has those imps in the second part of the dungeon that are a bit difficult to deal with sometimes. And so maybe you want to spec into, you know, Dragon's Breath and Blast Wave so you can deal with them more easily. But if you're running something like, I don't know, the Noku Defensive, maybe it's not that big of a deal to spec into a different kind of talent tree, right? And we are running out of mana, so I'm going to go ahead and hit Evocation, get some of my mana back. I do want mana available for the second part of this boss fight, since we are getting pulled into the Shadow Realm in a couple seconds now. There we go. Gonna need to focus my soul. Right, soul should be taken care of. We'll get back into it. We're almost ready to go into a burn phase. And I've also spec'd into the talent that gives me personal bloodlust, so we'll go ahead and hit it after I put this Rune of Power down. And we'll go right into a burn, with Arcane Surge being the 4th spell after Radiant Spark. We'll throw in a Barrage. That should be good enough damage for that burn. We're going to have to dodge some swirlies in a couple seconds. Alright. I think we can hit Shifting Power to get some of our cooldowns back, and also blink out of that swirly on the ground so we don't get hit by it. Alright. We are also in a position to do another burn. I don't think I have to worry about being pulled into the Shadow Realm for about 10 to 15 seconds now. I think the boss has to do, was it Planar Shift first? Okay.
None escape the void.
We'll go ahead and hit Evocation, get some of our mana back. That way we'll have mana going into the Shadow Realm. We'll focus our Possessed Soul. Okay. Alright. Looks like we are pulling an Exhumed Spirit. Go ahead and give ourselves a Slash Cheer. And let's start moving over to the next part of the dungeon. I actually have 20 Arcane Harmony stacks and 4 Arcane Charges. I think we can go right into a burn. Okay. We'll go ahead and position ourselves over here near the priest so that we can dispel the Thundering Affix easily. Alright. Let's go ahead and, you know, actually, one thing we will do is hit Shifting Power to get some of our cooldowns back. And then we will focus on farming Arcane Harmony stacks, and we're going to save our cooldowns for the next pull. Oh, excuse me. This next pull is going to involve some spiders. Specifically this monstrous corpse spider, whose necrotic burst needs to be interrupted. I accidentally doubled up on the interrupt there, but you know what? I think we can do enough damage to either bring it down to 0 health before it does another necrotic burst, and even if it doesn't, I think we can use Blast Wave to actually knock it back, so it's not going to be too big of a deal. Okay. Actually, someone else is taking care of the interrupt right there, so that's fine.
The elements answer to me.
Alright. We need to go ahead and dispel that Thundering Affix before, you know, it stuns us. It's always better to dispel the Thundering Affix early instead of late. Since if you dispel it late, well, you get stunned out of, you know, whatever you're doing. And you also take damage. Right? We'll go ahead and do a burn on the spider. Sidestep the tornado as much as we can. Alright. Okay, so Dragon's Breath does not actually work on these spiders, but you know what, it's fine.
My mana is low.
It's always great to, you know, even if you're running a key level as high as level 17, you know, if you're doing all right on the run, you think you have an opportunity, you can also always try to, you know, test different ideas, see what works and see what doesn't. I actually didn't know whether or not Dragon's Breath would work on interrupting that spider there, but I figured this has been a pretty clean run so far. We still have 21 minutes left in the run. So, you know, it's not too big of a deal if I tried to test out whether or not Dragon's Breath would have stunned the spider. And it's good I did that, because I learned that, well, it doesn't stun the spider, so it's not a viable option of dealing with Necrotic Burst. And that's really, like, the main way to get good at, you know, running Mythic Plus dungeons, is just see what works and what doesn't, and also look up guides from other people who, you know, they basically do this for a living. I know there are people who run, you know, Mythic Plus for a living. They do, you know, World of Warcraft content for a living. So they have a pretty good idea of also of what works and what doesn't, especially when it comes to Mythic dungeons. All right. I think, you know what, we will save our cooldowns. Alright. I will have Evocation up in about 1 second. We'll go ahead and hit that. We'll also sidestep the swirly on the ground. This Carrion Worm is going down at 20% health, so saving the cooldowns, I think, was the best option here. Here what we can do is we can actually, I think we can go into a burn right here, right? Alright. We'll go ahead and use Arcane Surge on this burn as well. Okay, Inhale is coming out. We'll go ahead and step in the Corpse Breath, so that we don't get pulled into the Bonemaw. Alright. Other worms are coming out. We're going to go ahead and focus on one of them, at least. I also forgot to hit Shift and Power to get some of my cooldowns back. That way I can actually perform a burn on this Carrion Worm. Alright. This Carrion Worm's going to go down. Let's try to find where a Corpse Breath is. We'll stick into this Corpse Breath and also focus the Carrion Worm in the back here. You know what? We'll go ahead and take the hit from the swirly right there. Alright.
I don't have a target.
Here is Bonemaw. Sidestep the Body Slam. There we go. Corpse Breath is coming out. It's all the way out there. Warlock's not in a great position for the Corpse Breath. But you know what? We'll deal with it. I'm going to hold off on my burn phase for now, since he is going to sink beneath the depths in a couple seconds. So I want to get the most out of my burn phase. We do have 20 Arcane Harmony stacks for Arcane Charges. Wherever he's showing up now. Then we can actually set up a burn phase right here. Make sure we've sidestepped the Body Slam. We'll go ahead and use Arcane Surge on this. And we'll start moving over to the Corpse Breath to stand in it. Alright. We'll go ahead and take the hit from the swirly on the ground. I think that's fine. Alright. Thundering Affix has been dispelled. Question is, where is he going now? Looks like he's coming over here. We also want to go ahead and hit Shifting Power to get some of our cooldowns back. Alright, we can go into a burn. Corpse Breath is coming out. I think I might have to blink over. Okay. This is not the best burn since I'm out of range of my Rune of Power, but you know what, it's fine. The main thing is to not get swallowed by the inhale. I think the timing is not going to be great. I'm going to have to wait for him to sink back into the depths again before I get a good timing on when to use the burn. We will position ourselves so we can step right into the Corpse Breath though. I will also use Evocation to get some of my mana back. We can go ahead and step into the Corpse Breath so we don't get inhaled. There is a tornado over there to my right. After inhale is done, we'll go ahead and blink over, dispel the tornado, the Thundering Affix. And actually this should about do it for this boss fight. So we'll go ahead and give ourselves a slash cheer and move on to the last part of the dungeon with 15 minutes left on the clock. I think we're in a good position. You know what, we'll go ahead and do a burn. Okay. I think that's fine. Alright. Looks like we are going to focus the left one first. Void Pulse is not something to worry about this week since it is a Tyrannical week and not a Fortified week. Void Eruptions are something you do have to worry about though. There are swirlies on the ground, so you do have to dodge them. I'll go ahead and do that dodging while I am doing the burn. Make sure that that guy dies. We'll get the Dispel on the Thundering Affix. I do need mana, so we'll go ahead and hit Evocation to get some of that mana back. Let's see, 18 seconds, 17, 15 seconds left on the Rune of Power. You know what, I don't think we need to use Shifting Power to get my cooldowns back. And also, I don't know if I'm necessarily, you know, wanting to go right into a burn phase off the pull, since there is going to be an ion cannon that jumps out, like right there. We'll go ahead and do a burn right now, though. I think this is good. Okay, we'll sidestep that. Throw that in. Okay, we do want to focus the ads now. So I'm going to swap off the boss early. We'll focus this ad. Alright. Also sidestep the Malevolence cast. We'll hit Shifting Power to get some of our cooldowns back. Alright, hopefully we have a B-res for our healer.
Rocked by lightning.
Okay. Go ahead and dispel on the Warlock here. This is kind of I'm kind of improvising right now. I'm a little late on this burn. You know what, it should be fine. We'll throw in a, oh, okay, this might kill me. Okay, it did not kill me. That's a good thing. Go ahead and use a lock cookie right there. Okay. The wall is broken. We can go ahead and start doing damage to this guy again. Malevolence, I'm not in the cone for that. So we're okay to hit shifting power. Or sorry, evocation it looks like. I will wait until the next ion cannon comes out before I do another burn. I feel like the ion cannon is going to land on me. There it is. Okay, we're in a position to do a burn. Okay, maybe not. Okay. It's a close call. This is even closer call. Do you want to run that way? That was not the greatest burn, but you know what? As long as we're alive, we should be good. We're going to go ahead and focus this ad right here. We're also going to dodge the cone. Okay. The ad should be taken care of. We're not in the blast cone right now. We'll go ahead and hit shifting power to get some of our cooldowns back. Looks like the warlock is trying to bait the ion cannon. Okay. We're in a position where we can do a burn. Okay. We'll throw a barrage in. I think this is going to do it for Shadowmoon Burial Grounds, level 17. We'll go ahead and give ourselves a slash cheer, thank everyone for a clean run, and even congratulate them on beating the timer. We even got a 2 chest out of that. Keystone upgraded +2. And of course we are an Arcane Mage, so the common courtesy is to give everyone a portal back to the main hub of the expansion. And that's going to about do it here, so if you liked what you saw here, feel free to like the video and subscribe to the channel. If you want to see me run any other dungeons from Dragonflight Mythic Plus Season 1, leave a comment down below letting me know which dungeons you'd like to see me run. Hopefully I can get around to posting a VOD of that. Anyway, that's going to about do it for me here, so I hope you all had fun watching, and I will see you all later.